Hello, sweet friend. My name is Maike, and this video is hopefully turning out to be my first vlog. So wish me luck that this all comes together in some sort of satisfying way. But yeah, I thought it might be nice to play around with taking you along whenever I work in my creative journals, play around with my inks. Maybe we can do some drawings together. We'll see. We are starting the vlog with a new pen, so we'll take a look at that in just a moment, so that's always fun. And then yeah, I just hope this is going to be a cozy, comfy hangout session with me, and I do hope I can make it cozy because it is gray and rainy outside. So and yeah, if you're wondering, by the way, why the shelf and the frame are way up there, I'm currently testing something out in my office where I'm working with a coffee table as my main desk. So I'm currently sitting on the floor, which is also extra cozy, I think, anyway. So that is that. But yeah, let's take a look at my new pen. The special kaweco editions are sent out in this beautiful tin. I love the design of this. This is so nice. I'm definitely gonna repurpose this. And then we get a little sticker that's going in my ink journal later on. And then a little pamphlet. And then there is the pen. I have obviously already inked it up, couldn't wait, so it doesn't have the protective plastic on there anymore, but look at how beautiful. They call this colorway Hickory Brown in their kaweco Arts Sport collection, but I think it just has this beautiful nostalgic look to it, almost like a tortoise colorway. And I've been eyeing this one ever since this came out, and it's been out for a while, I'm pretty sure, but I was always a little hesitant because of the price point. The normal kaweco Sports cost around the $30 mark, and this one is $120, which is obviously a pretty steep increase. And yeah, so I always felt a little hesitant, but it went on clearance on a website called the Nibsmith, and I'd already wanted to order the pen from there because they let you, or they offer a service where they tune and smooth the nib before sending these out, and kawecos can be hit or miss when it comes to how smooth or how wet the nibs write. So yeah, they had it on clearance for $75, and so that was a match made in heaven. At least for me. So yay me for waiting and getting that deal. And then also I've mentioned this before, I think I'm going to have to retire this kaweco Sport, and it is entirely my fault. I messed around with the nib. I wanted to put a different nib unit in this. Incidentally, I had bought a nib unit from the Nibsmith for this kaweco to switch out, but this particular pen, they must have screwed in the nib unit really, really tightly because I can't get this out, and I think I got a little rough with it, and I must have, yeah, destroyed something in here because now it is leaking ink. And not only is that a little unsightly in the cap, but it wastes ink, and I feel like the pen overall dries out a little bit more than usual. So yeah, I think this is something to retire, I think. So I'm swapping this for this, and yeah, just makes me really, really happy, and it is just so gorgeous. Beauty. Okay, well, I can show you how it writes because I do think that the Nibsmith, the Tune and Smooth, made a major difference. And if you're wondering, this is my Midori Codex, which this year is my everything notebook. So in the front, I just test out stuff, write notes, to-do lists, those kinds of things. It's all over the place, really. And then in the back, let's see, where's the, I should have put like a little snippet, and I don't know, some of this, I don't know if I want to share that. And then in the back, I typically do sketches and work out my Cat Collage Club designs and some other drawings and doodles. So this is a really good solution I found, to just buy a big notebook and then split it in half, to always have my notes and my sketches with me. And yeah, it's a really good solution. I don't know if I'm gonna do that again next year, simply because at the beginning and at the end you obviously have to work with such a big book, but yeah. Oh, and I had it cut down to an A5 slim size. Usually they're just big A5. And then let's see if we can zoom you in a little bit. Nope, that is not zoom, sorry. There we go. So you can see a little bit better. Whoops, sorry, and I'm shaking you, my goodness. So let's see here. This is the Kaweco Art Sport. And I have this inked with a Tono and Limbs ink called Matte Khaki, which was sent to me as a sample by the wonderful Morgan from Whole Latte Plans. And yeah, it is so smooth, the nib. I mean, it's still a small nib, you know, but yeah, I think this is really nice, and it's definitely, you can tell the difference. I can anyway. And it's pretty wet. And Mandy from Bookish Artist, Mandy, she has been playing around with getting premium nibs for her Kaweco Sports. So Kaweco sells premium steel nibs, which in and of itself is a little bit like, really? Why don't you put, if you have better nibs, why don't you put those in the pens to begin with? But they cost about, I think, $50, $55. And I would be really curious to see how they compare to just getting a tuned and smoothed nib, you know, because you can buy just the nib units at the Nibsmith for $15, and then you can add the tune and smooth for free. So that's $15 versus $55, but I don't know, you know, how it compares. So yeah, but I'm tempted. I could get all kinds of, like, this is a medium. Maybe I should add that. I really like the medium. It's a little slimmer, I would think, than, say, a Lamy medium, like another German medium. And if I'm not mistaken, the Kawecos use Bach nibs. This is getting all kinds of wonky, but yeah. Really, really smooth. Really nice. And I really like pocket pens, I've noticed, especially for drawing. I hope you can see that. Yeah, especially for drawing and doodling, there's just something about the way it fits in my hand. And I used to think that some of these pens were too thin for me, but there is a difference between whether or not I use them for drawing versus for writing. And it seems like I can get away with a thinner pen for drawing. I don't know if you've noticed anything like that for yourself, where, yeah, depending on how you or what you use your pens for, you can get away with certain, like the measurements or what is important to you. Let's see here. It's just a little gnome friend here. Like so. And then we'll just fill that in. Yeah, that's really nice. I don't have a lot of experience with this ink, so I'm not quite sure if this could be wetter still in a different pen. That's obviously the benefit of having an ink when you first get a new pen, use it with an ink that you have really good, that you know very well. And it's coming off a little bit more subdued on camera right now. But yeah, maybe I don't know if you'll be able to hear how how smooth this is. Here, let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of feedback, but not to the point that a regular kaweco nib would. So yeah, that is my new pen. Really fun. All right, let's see here where we would like this to sit. Initially, I thought I wanted it up here, but now seeing it on this double page spread, I feel like this gets so top heavy as a double page spread. So I think I'm actually gonna put that maybe here. And then I was thinking, let's look at some of my cat stickers, because I'm pretty sure somewhere in here we have some cats with some pens. That might be nice. I must say that as much as I like my sticker books, I do feel like it would be nice to have this as a ring system where I can organize things better, because it would make it easier to keep certain stickers that have the same topic closer together, and it might be easier to find. So yeah, that's a bit of a bummer, but yeah, here we have some cats. I mean, this one even almost has a similar look to it, so that might be fun. Or is that confusing because it's not quite the same? And then we have this, but the colors go together with the photo, so yeah, I might do this, but then I also have these that are just black and white. That might be nice too. Yeah, maybe I do that. Maybe her, the smaller one. That could be cute. And then I think I also have, yeah, new pen. Let's just grab that already and put that on here. Wait, can you see? Is that too small? Maybe I need to write it out, actually write it out. What do you think? Or instead of putting it up here, because there it looks a little lost, we need to make that part of this cluster. That sometimes is nice. And though I do like making titles for my pages, that doesn't necessarily mean that the title needs to go all the way up the top. I mean, it could sit right here, maybe. It does look a little boxy. Everything is so boxy, so maybe we're not doing that after all. Let's bring in our little cat. I already lost her again. How do you like to keep your stickers? Do you do sticker albums? I mean, that's, yeah, she could stand right there. Or do we need the big one? I feel like there's a little bit of sameness of size going on. Sometimes it's nice to keep things varied. I do like that better. I mean, that really does cut the page in sections. Or do one down here and do this one up here. Maybe these, the photo and the sticker. Oh, you can't see, can you? There we go. Yeah, I had it sitting down there and then this up top. Yeah, I think I want to separate those. I think this just becomes too bulky overall. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. Do you deliberate that this much? Or am I making you go, decide already? I think I like this. I'm just gonna go for it. Ta-da! And then this is I think this is a sticker. I mean, it feels thick like a sticker, so we can peel this off. Yes. Down there, and now the question is, do I do it straight or a little bit angled? These book covers I did angled, and I think that's kind of fun like that. But I think I'm gonna keep these straight. Mix it up, mix it up. All right, and for this, I need to grab my glue stick, which I don't know where that is. Okay, found the glue stick. So just printed this on regular printer paper because I'm running out of the nice sticker paper. But I think this works also. It's all good. Okay. Well, there's that, and then maybe we can break up some of that squareness with some washi. That would be nice. And then I did use this kind of like brown floral washi on the opposite side, and sometimes it's nice to just carry that through. Do we want to combine it with... no. What about this? Not sure. Maybe this. All right, I think these two might be nice to go on this page. And then, as per usual, I rarely use the whole strip. I usually rip it because I like the uneven edge that creates. Again, especially because I like to use washi tape in order to break up some of the straight edges. So there's that, and then get some green to layer. That might be a little long. Yeah, and a little thick. Let's try that. Yeah. Do you want to bring this on the opposite side? No. Yeah, I'm not sure about that green. We'll see. I mean, washi tape is easy enough to get off, so take that off. All right, I think then maybe we do go ahead and write the title up here. You could also go around. Yeah, I feel like I'm having all kinds of not the greatest decision making skills today for some reason, but we'll get there eventually, won't we? Yeah, so how are you doing? How's your journaling going? I started this new insert here in the beginning of the month, so beginning of November. I finished my other insert at the end of October. Well, truth be told, that insert had maybe like 3 pages left, but I decided that I didn't want to chop November or have it split between 2 inserts, so I figured that was a okay thing to do, to go ahead and move into a new insert. For anyone working in a TN, how do you handle that? Do you go ahead and switch when it comes so close to the new month? Or do you really just fill out and no matter where you are in the month, go and finish it out, and then you do have your month split potentially? I'd like to know. And yeah, I had been considering just doing another Midori insert, the cream Midori paper insert. But then I knew that I had this one still in my stash. This is one of the Baumkuchen inserts, the grid. It's cream Tomoe River paper, and I've had this for a while, so this is older stock Tomoe River paper. I actually don't know, does anybody know if the cream paper was affected by the recent paper quality issues? I mean, I know that the machine that used to make the really good old Tomoe River paper isn't working anymore, so I understand that that's sort of definitely out of commission, basically. But I mean, yeah, last year's paper in general was just so bad, so I don't know if the cream paper was ever got that bad. I mean, I guess the weeks are cream paper, and mine, for example, it didn't bleed or feather, but the nib creep, so then all of my nibs wrote so much wider that it was, or is, really hard to use. So I'm just lightening my lettering here, and I was just thinking, I mean, I guess I could use one of my fountain pens to fill this lettering in, but I'm kind of also feeling like maybe playing with my Kakimori brass nib. But then this is 52 GSM paper. I need to remind myself that this isn't the Midori paper, so that might bleed through. Yeah, so maybe we do go with a fountain pen. Well, let's see, I don't have all of them right here, but I do have some options. This one has Sailor Rikucha, or Rikucha? Rikucha? I'm not sure where to put the emphasis, but that might be nice. It has kind of like an earthy quality to it. Yeah, let's do that. And then do you wanna see a little bit up close how nice this ink is? Yeah. I'm sorry for the scratchy noises, my goodness, of that clip, but can't do anything about that. Well, I guess I could put something soft on the... But yeah, have you tried any of the inserts from Baumkuchen before? I really like this one. I like how faint the grid lines are, but it's not hard to see them, but they're also not so dark that they get in the way of whatever you're doing on the page. And I was kind of feeling like having a grid for a change rather than just the blank page. Sometimes there's something very freeing about a grid. It's almost as if oh, this is not something where you make art. This is just, you know, a notebook, so scribble away. And yeah, that can be very freeing. I do know that it also can be like all of a sudden you feel boxed in or everything needs to be straight because the grid is straight. I feel like, is that bleeding? It's almost coming through. I'm not sure. I've had this happen also on Midori paper. I don't know. That would be the first Sailor ink I've tried where you kind of run the risk of it bleeding and feathering, or if this is the pen. Not sure. Sometimes doing lettering like this is very soothing. Just fill it in. Just watch the ink on the page. Yeah, I like this Rikyucha color. I do want to compare it to Sailor Tsukigokuro because I feel like they have similarities, and I do have a bottle of Tsukigokuro, so not sure I would need a full bottle of this then in addition to that. But yeah, have to check that. Yeah, and then recently I've really been enjoying doing underlining my lettering, and then I often do like a double line. I don't know. So very wobbly because the camera is in the way, so I can't fully sit straight. Yeah, okay. Let's look at that as a whole. Yeah, all right. I'll do the writing, and I might add some little more bits and bobs, but I'll come back when that's done. Yep, that is the page all filled in. I think it's a pretty simple page, but you know, you gotta have some of those in your journal as well. So pretty happy with that. And I think, yeah, overall these two pages look nice together. I always find that it can be a challenge sometimes if you journal about two separate things, but yeah. And then I did, like previously, wrap this insert in this beautiful fabric. I love fabric on my notebooks. And then just to give you a little glimpse into what I've been doing so far, which is not that much. As always, started my month with a little rundown of my Cat Collage Club printable collection. I just like to keep track of that. I'm not sure why I didn't write that on this page, so we'll have to figure out something over here. Maybe I'll just paste some photos or draw something, who knows, or it just stays blank. And then something new that I've been trying is this gratitude list. So I just want to keep a list of little things that bring me joy or are just happy moments throughout the month. And I thought it was a nice way to create a snapshot of the month. So I'm really excited to see how this turns out. And then I might be, depending on how long the list is going to be, I might be able to write some more here, or I'll fill this entire page with photos of the month. So yeah, I'll keep you posted on how that's going, but I definitely like the idea. And then yeah, we just have this, so really not that much, but yeah, I love the paper. I think the cream is just so nice with the Tomoe River paper. But also, now that I've started this, maybe we can actually put that in my cover and do a little bit of a reset in here, because some of you may remember I tried out the weekly, the undated weekly vertical, and though I did like it for a while, I felt like at some point it started to become so much writing that it felt like, well, this should just be a regular spread. And then I started doing the weeklies in the Passport to shrink it down a little bit. So I'm not currently using this insert, so really there's no reason to have that even in here right now. I will put that aside because maybe the fancy strikes me and I want to revisit this idea, so I definitely am gonna hold on to that. And of course it does have some memories in there, so don't want to lose out on those. And then yeah, we'll archive this one here. That was the special oven trip with the beautiful gold foiling on the front. So yeah, that'll be archived. So then we can move this in here. And yeah, I think this cover, I picked out this fabric before I knew that I was working with this red leather tan, but I think the colors still go okay. I will say that that is something, I don't know, I think I thought about it a little bit when I placed the order of this. Obviously the red on the outside is very dark. It's almost a burgundy. It has a little bit of a, yeah, maroonish, purplish undertone to it, and it's pretty dark. I mean, it is definitely a red, but certainly not as red as this is. And so there's just this little bit of, I don't know how much of a fan I am of this inside red, especially because it is so distinct. And so when you have your notebook open, you can obviously see some of the red. And so, yeah. And then depending on what you put on your insert covers, you kind of have this interplay of this very distinct red with whatever you have going on in the specific insert. So, yeah, I don't know. I, of course, understand that there's nothing you can do about the color. I mean, the color is the color from the dyeing process, but yeah, it is pretty distinct. And then I was thinking, I have this second TN set up in my camel, and in here I haven't worked in this in a very long time, which kind of makes me sad, but I have this insert, my book of comforts, where I just work on journaling prompts or reflect on things, yeah, that just bring me comfort. I think a few people know about sort of this idea of a joy journal or a gratitude journal even, but I figured why not make one about comfort and things that bring you comfort or things that bring you out of your comfort zone, and so you can explore that. And so yeah, I have to work in this some more. But I have this in here, I have some journal prompts in here, and then I also keep in here my artist journal. And so in here I just reflect on what inspires me and what colors I like and artists I enjoy and those kinds of things. And I haven't worked in this in a while either. And I was kind of thinking I would take one of these out of here and put that in with this one, so that I maybe think to work in these some more, but also because then this one isn't so lonely in this cover. But I don't know, I kind of feel like these two just go together. I feel like to me that makes sense because these are not the everyday kind of journals, just whenever I have something to journal about. So yeah, now that I talked you through all of that, makes me realize like maybe that's not, I don't know, my brain kind of thinks that maybe doesn't make sense after all. What do you think? Would you switch that around? Yeah, I think I'll leave it with just this for now, and I'll see what I think, and maybe some of you have some thoughts on that, and then I can revisit that. I guess I could see, I mean, I have other empty inserts. I even have like a sketching insert and maybe like a watercolor one, so that might be fun actually. Combine it with a sketchbook insert. Yeah, okay, well, I'll think about it, but I'll leave it be like this for now. Once again, we meet on the floor. I don't know what to tell you. I just think it's cozy. this time in our living room because this is where we get the most daylight, and that is a sparse commodity these days. But I have gotten 2 notebooks in. These are some journals for 2026, and I'm not quite ready yet for a official journal lineup for 2026 because I'm still waiting on my planner. And then the other day I saw another journal that I'm really intrigued by. I like the layout, and I haven't seen anyone talk about it yet, and I have an idea on how to use it, and the use would really entice me. And I'm not trying to be vague, but also I might change my mind, and so why do I keep talking about this? But yeah, I am trying to talk myself out of buying that one because I just don't want to add too many books and too many like separate things. And so I don't know. I mean, part of me also wants to just, because I've not heard anyone talk about that journal, wants to order it for science, you know? Meaning I could share it with you, and then, you know, it's a public service of sorts, maybe. No, I do think I would like it, but yeah, I'll think about it. But what I did know I wanted and would use was this Passport TN Weekly in the horizontal. I think they only come in the horizontal, and I'll get it out of the plastic and show you. I've actually never ordered this before, so let's see what we got here. We have these 2 notebooks, so the year is split in 2 in these blue colors. We're definitely going to cover that because I'm not a big blue fan. And then it's pretty straightforward, I would assume. You got like a yearly overview, and then this sort of tracking space. I mean, you could also use it for something else. Indexing, potentially. Very small in the Passport, but you could definitely fit like a word or 2, like birthdays or step tracking would probably work, those kinds of things, certain milestones. And then you get into the weekly view. And if you've seen some of my recent Journal With Me videos, I've been really enjoying keeping weekly highlights in this format and just stickering it up. And it's just a cute space, really, to play with stickers. So yeah, that's really cute. And then it comes with a 2026 guide. That's cute. For all the travelers who have a free spirit. Very cute. Oh, and we get stickers. Yay! So there's a cute little sticker sheet. I really love this design. That's on their yearly sticker release for 2026 too. And there's something about this character. I think it's a notebook. Yeah, a traveler's notebook. The way they've designed the face, it reminds me of a children's cartoon, Barbapapa. If anyone has seen that, I feel like it looks like a character out of Barbapapa. Am I saying that right? Or was Barbapapa the elephant? No, that was called something else. Anyway, it has some sort of nostalgic childhood cartoon vibe to it. But yeah, I always like seeing what they come up with in terms of the yearly theme, I guess you could call it. I feel like this year with the traveler's spirit, and this might be, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, I haven't heard anyone talk about it yet. I feel like because Traveler's Notebook is always about travel, I feel like this feels a little undistinct, if that makes sense. Like Love and Trip, it is also about trip, right? But it has this really distinctive love component to it, and you had the dove and the red for the hearts and everything. It just feels more, yeah, distinct. And I know that was a special edition. That wasn't the, oh no, it was though. It was the sticker sheet and everything. Yeah, that was the official 2025 release. And then 2 years, 1 year ago, it was the coffee shop. So you got that really distinct coffee theme, and then they had the Traveler's Town with the cute town map and things like that. So I feel like they had a little bit more itness to it. And I feel like this one is a little, I don't know how that is different from all the other Traveler's Spirit stuff that they do just for their general lineup. But, you know, it still looks really cute. I think they chose some gorgeous colors, so I'm not complaining. It's just interesting. Yeah. And then the other one, I've wanted this one for years at this point. Every year I tell myself, oh man, that layout is so cute and I want to try it out, and then I talk myself out of it. And so this year I was like, how many times will I tell myself that I'm not gonna get it and then regret kind of not getting it? Because they can sell out, interestingly enough, because they don't seem that popular, at least online or on social media and YouTube. I mean, you see people use it, but it's not as common as Traveler's Notebook or Hobonichi, not by far. I think Hobonichi is one of the most popular ones. But yeah, I love Midori products. I love their paper, and this one, I love how minimal it is, even though it gives you more structure than, say, a blank notebook does. And you do get index tabs with it. Really nice. And then, I mean, already the cutest thing on the first page, I don't know if you can see that on there, a story of 2026. You already got me. And then they just design everything with a lot of blank space around it, which makes it look so clean, but it also means you have tons of space for decoration. And then these are the monthly overviews, so cute. It's gonna be so nice to use the space to decorate. And then, I'm sure a lot of you have seen how this is laid out. The daily pages just have a timeline with some grids, and then you have this the top section and the side blank, with the space to put the date up top. So, you know, a lot of free room to play around with. And I don't know what it is, but I feel like because the lines only start right here, I feel like I've seen pages where you feel more invited to leave blank space, more so than it would if it was an entire blank space, if that makes any sense. Just those little lines just really help to enforce this idea of, yeah, just put, like, you know, a sticker here, do some writing there, maybe another sticker or drawing down here, and you're done. Like, no need to fill all of this up there. So that's what I like about this anyway. And then the fact that you do have a page per day, but it's also undated. So if you miss days or need 2 pages or 3, 4 pages for a day, then you have that. And then at the end, they just mirror what they did at the beginning. I can take this paper thing here off. To be continued, 2027. Not a huge fan of the cover. It's this weird plastic in an off-white. I mean, it looks very clean, but I'm assuming that it's not gonna look clean once I start using it. And so I'm probably going to cover it in fabric. At least that's my plan right now. I've also seen Erin Ware on her Patreon. She had a tutorial. She bought this in a 5, and she actually ripped the entire plastic cover off, like this whole binding and everything, and then made an entire new cover for the book to also turn it into a hardcover. I think that was part of it too. But I think Mod Podge probably holds on this plastic material. And so my plan was to just wrap it in plastic like I wrap any other notebook, in that I don't have to take the entire thing off. But yeah, we'll see. So yeah, that's that. Was a whole lot of chatting going on there. I didn't know I had so much to say. But if you want me to do any more thorough flip throughs of that, I mean, I think these are pretty common. But yeah, otherwise I'm really excited to set these up and get using these and sharing that with you and how it works. Yeah. So I wanted to end this video with a little drawing session, and I grabbed some of my fountain pen inks. Most of these are new. We have some Tono and Limbs and a Sailor Ink Studio ink there, and I'm using my Kakimori brass nib. Even though I have some of these colors inked in fountain pens right now, I just love how the ink looks when I use the brass dip nib, because it puts so much ink down on the page that the colors look really rich. And especially with this Sailor Ink Studio 273, it really brings out the chroma shading and it just looks wonderful. Now, to be fair, I haven't inked up this Sailor ink in a pen yet, so I don't know how much of this chroma shading translates into a pen. No, that's not English. How much chroma shading shows up when you ink it up in a pen. Sometimes that gets a little lost, but it definitely comes out beautifully on this Tomoe River paper and with this Kakimori brass nib. And even in some instances on these doodle florals, I held the Kakimori dip nib a little funny because I was working around my camera that was recording. So I angled the nib more than I would if I was just drawing by myself. And so I got these really thick lines and certain lines merged together, but I really don't mind because it just shows off the inks and it makes the whole page look very fun and loose, I guess is a good way of saying this. You can see I have drawn out this layout in pencil before, just simply because I wanted to have enough writing space in the middle there, because these flowers are supposed to frame a poem that somebody shared and reshared on Instagram, and I found it really wonderful and wanted to capture that in my journal. I'll leave the link to the Instagram post in the description if you want to check it out. I'll show you also at the end what that looks like once I have that finished. But yeah, I really enjoyed making these floral frames, floral doodles. I've done this before. It's just a very relaxing way to put together a journal spread. Highly recommend. Again, also a super fun way to play with your inks some more. Overall, I really enjoyed putting this video together and sharing little glimpses throughout this week with you. Granted, it wasn't a full week. I started filming this on Monday and today is Friday, and this video goes out tomorrow morning on Saturday. So it was more of a work week than a full week. And so I missed out on the weekend, and thus I didn't get too much journaling done. But I hope you enjoy this kind of video format, and let me know if you would like to see more, or if there's certain aspects you enjoyed most. I'm definitely open to playing around with this some more and potentially getting better at it too. And yeah, just enjoy sharing this time with you either way. And I'm also not saying that every video is now going to be a vlog. I'm certainly going to also still do journal with me videos and share the occasional ink showcase, if you will, those types of things. So yeah, I'm certain that there's going to be a variety coming up. Yeah, as always, thank you so much for sharing this time with me. I always appreciate chatting with you in the comments. And if you would like to show me that you have enjoyed the video but don't have anything really to comment, leave me a sun emoji for some much needed vitamin D. Let me know, how is winter or late fall treating you so far? Are you holding in there? I know the gray and the rain can really get to you sometimes, but it's nice to still at least have some color in our journals and enjoy beautiful things and even draw up some flowers despite the lateness of the year. Yeah, all right. That is it from me this week. Thank you so much, and until next time, happy journaling.